Students, today we will discuss about the lesson 8, how do organisms reproduce. First, we should know about the meaning of reproduction. Reproduction word consists of two words, re and production. Re and production. It means producing new individual of the same species by the existing organism. It is the productions of the new individual. That is called reproduction. Now, what is the significance of the reproduction? It increases the population of the species. Reproduction increases the population of a species. It plays an important role in evolution by transmitting favorable variation. It plays an important role in evolution. It plays an important role in evolution by transmitting favorable variations from one generation to another. It allows continuation or perpetuations of a species. It helps in the continuity of the life. Now, type of reproduction. There are two types of reproduction, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is the process of producing new organism from a single parent. New organism is produced from the single parent without the involvement of the sex cell or the gametes. Now, what are the characteristics of the asexual reproduction? Only one individual, there is only one individual of an organism is involved. Cell division are either ameiotic or mitotic. New individuals produced are genetically identical. Here the individual produced is genetically identical to the parents. It means no evolution is possible. Asexual reproduction is a rapid mode of multiplication. It is the rapid mode of multiplication. Now, mode of reproduction used by single organism or asexual reproduction. Asexual reproductions take place by the following method. First is the fission. Fission means breakdown. Fission is the simplest method of reproduction in unicellular organisms like amoeba, paramecium, and protozoa. In this process, the parent organism split or divide. In this, the parent organism splits or divides to form two or more new organisms, and it is of two types, binary fission and multiple fission. Binary fission. Binary means two. It is the division of the one cell into the two similar cells. Binary fission means it is the division of the single cell into two similar or the identical cell. In this method, the nucleus first divide amitotically into the two, followed by the division of the cytoplasm. We can understand by the example of the amoeba. This is the amoeba. This is the nucleus. Here the nucleus starts the extend and slowly it will separate, and then the division of the cytoplasm takes place and two new organisms or two daughter cells are formed. The cell finally splits into the two daughter cells. Examples are bacteria, yeast, euglena, amoeba and paramecium. Now multiple fission. Multiple means many. In multiple fission, many individuals are formed from the single parent or the single individual. The nucleus of the cell divides repeatedly, producing many nuclei. It will produce many nuclei. Each nucleus is surrounded by a small amount of the cytoplasm, and many daughter cells are produced within the cyst. Here is the nucleus, cytoplasm, cyst and cell membrane. This is the example of the plasmodium. Here the nucleus and the cytoplasm divided into the many cells, and many cells and many organisms are produced, or many daughter cells are produced in the form of the cyst. The cyst break up under favorable conditions and small offsprings are liberated. Examples are algae in plants and plasmodium in the animals. Now next is fragmentation. Multicellular organism. Fission takes place in the unicellular organism. Fragmentation takes place in the multicellular organism. and break up into two or more small pieces or the fragments. Fragmentation means breaking into the fragments or pieces. Multicellular organisms break up into two or more small pieces or fragments. These fragments grow into the new individual. You can take the example of the Spirogyra. Spirogyra is a algae. It is the type of the algae. And when this algae break from any place, then the two new organisms are formed. Method of asexual reproduction is regeneration. Regeneration means again formed, or ability of the fully differentiated organism to give rise to the new individual from its body part. Small cut or broken part of the organism body grow or regenerate. It will grow or regenerate into the separate individual. Example is Hydra. In the Hydra, there is a small bulb-like structure. This is called the bud. When this bud detached, then this bud develops into a new organism or new hydra. This is called the regeneration. Regeneration, or in the daily routine, you can see regeneration in the wall lizard. When wall lizard leaves its tail, then the tail reappears. This is the example of the regeneration. Now next is budding. Budding. In budding, a small part of the body of the parents grows out as a bud, which then detach and become a new organism. Example is Hydra. Help as an outgrowth in the hydra due to the repeated cell division at one specific site. When fully mature, the bud detaches itself from the parent's body and develops into the new independent individual. Here, this bulb-like structure or bud detaches from this and develops into the new organism. And regeneration also shown in the planaria. Vegetative propagation. New plants are obtained from the part of the old plant like stem, root and leaves without the help of any reproductive organ. Without the help of any reproductive organ from the plant parts such as stem, root, leaves, a new plant is obtained, and this is called the vegetative propagation. It is of two types: natural vegetative propagation and artificial vegetative propagation. Natural vegetative propagation by roots. It occurs in dahlia and sweet potato. Natural vegetative propagation by the stem. It occurs in ginger, potato, onion, etc. Natural vegetative propagation by the leaves. It takes place in the bryophyllum. Artificial vegetative propagation. First is the cutting. In this method, any part of the plant, either root, stem or leaves, is cut and buried partly in the moist soil, and the new plant will grow. Example: rose, sugarcane, grapes and chrysanthemum. We can grow these plants by the cutting method. Second method of artificial vegetative propagation is layering. The branch of the stem is called the layer. Branch of stem is called layer. This layer is then planted in the soil. From this layer, new shoot and root produce. As a result, new plant grows. Example is lemon, guava, hibiscus, bougainvillea, jasmine. Now grafting. Two plants of the closely related varieties are joined together so that they live as one plant. It consists of the scion and stalk. Scion. Scion is the portion of the plant that is grafted on the other plant, that is the stem part. Stalk. Stalk is the plant on which grafting is performed. This is the root part. This method is applied to improve the variety of the fruits like mango, apple, peach, citrus, guava and also in the flowering plants. Now, what are the advantages of the vegetative propagation? It is the cheaper method. It is cheaper, easier and more rapid method. The traits of the character of the parent plants are the preserved. Better quality of the plants can be maintained. It is used in those plants which do not produce viable seeds. These methods require less time and plants are genetically similar to the parent's plants. Disadvantage: it induces overcrowding. That's why lot of the plants died due to overcrowding. No genetic variation means no evolution is take place. Disease of the parent plant get transferred to the offspring. Now the tissue culture. Production of the new plant from isolated plant cells or the small pieces of the plant tissue in a systematic medium of the culture solution is called tissue culture. What is tissue culture? Plants are grown by removing tissue or separating cell from the growing tip of the plant and put it in artificial medium. Some tissue of the plant cell put in the artificial medium. The plant tissue divides to form a small group of the cell. Then plant tissue divides to a cell, group of cell. Group of cell is called callus. Now this callus is transformed to the another medium containing the hormones for growth and differentiation that form the plantlets or the baby plant. The plantlets produced are transplanted into the pots or soil where they can grow to form a mature plant. This technique is also known as the micropropagation in vitro because it takes place outside the body of the parent plant in a test tube. That's why it is called micropropagation in vitro using an artificial environment. Micropropagation technique is being used for the productions of the ornamental plants like orchids, dahlia and carnation. Now the spore formation. When a slice of the bread is kept in the moist dark place for a few days, spores of the rhizopus present in the air settle on the bread to form a new fungus plants of the rhizopus. The rhizopus consists of the fine thread-like projections. These are the fine thread-like structures. These are called the hyphae. It has a node-like structure or bulb-like structure which is involved in the reproduction called the sporangium or sporangia. Here spores are present in this sporangium containing spores that develop into the new rhizopus. Sexual reproduction in which two sexes, male and female, are involved. Male sexual unit is known as the male gamete or the sperm and female sexual unit is known as the female gamete or ova. What is the significance of the sexual reproduction? It promotes diversity of character in the offspring. It increases genetic variations. It helps in the origin of the new species, means it helps in the evolution of the new species. Sexual reproduction in the flowering plants. The reproductive part of the angiosperms are located in the flower. It means flower is the main reproductive part of the plant. Flower is the main reproductive organ of the plant. Male organ of the flower is called the stamen, which make the male gamete, which are present in the pollen grain of the plant. Female organ of flower is called the carpel or the pistil, make female gamete present in the ovules. Male gamete fertilized the female gamete and fertilized ovule grow and become the seeds. Seeds produced into the new plant. Now here are the two types of the flower, unisexual flower and the bisexual flower. It is the plant whose flower contain either stamen or carpel, not both, either stamen or the carpel, but not both. Example is papaya, watermelon. In these, male and female plant are different. Bisexual. It is the plant whose flowers contain both stamen and carpel. It is both types, stamen and carpel. Both the male and female part is present in the same flower. This is called the bisexual flower. Example is hibiscus, mustard, etc. Now parts of the flower are sepal, petal, stamen, carpel or pistil. We will discuss about the pollination. Pollination is the transfer of pollen grain from the anther of the stamen to the stigma. Anther of the stamen of a stamen to a stigma. The pollen grain are transferred by the many agents such as insects, birds, man, wind, water, animal, etc. Pollination is of two types: self-pollination, cross-pollination. Self-pollination. Transfer of the pollen grain from the anther of a flower to the stigma of the same flower. In same flower it will take place. Example is bee and China rose. Cross-pollination. Transfer of the pollen grain from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower of a different plant. It will take place in the different plant. Majority flowering plants are showing the cross pollination. Gametes. What are the gametes? The cells involved in the sexual reproduction are called the gametes. These are the cells. These are the cells which involved in the sexual reproduction is called the gametes. The male gamete in animal is called sperm or spermatozoon, and female gamete in animal are called ovum or egg. Zygote. The cell which is formed by the fusion of male and female gamete is called the zygote. When the fusion of male and female gamete take place, that is fertilization take place, it is a fertilized ovum or egg. This is called the zygote. Embryo. It is the stage of development between the zygote or the fertilized egg. Zygote or fertilized egg and the newly formed offspring. Now fertilization. Fertilization is the fusion of male and female gamete to form a zygote. This is the fusion of male and female gamete. Fertilization in plants. Pollination is followed by the fertilization. After the completion of the process of pollination, fertilization starts. After the pollen land on a suitable stigma, it has to reach the female germ cell in the ovary. The pollen tube grows out of the pollen grain through the style to reach the ovary. After fertilization, the zygote divides several times to form an embryo within the ovule. The ovule then develops a tough coat and gets converted into the seed. The seed contains the future embryo, which develops into the seedling or the baby plant. The ovary develops and ripens to form a fruit. Ripen ovary is called the fruit. The process of double fertilization occurs inside each embryo sac, in which two fusions take place. First is syngamy and second is triple fusion. Syngamy and triple fusion, both fusion take place, and this is called the double fertilization. When one male gamete fuses with the egg contained in the embryo sac of the ovule, this fusion of male and female gamete is called the syngamy, and product is the zygote. The other male gamete fuse with the two polar nuclei, and this is called the triple fusion, where three nuclei are involved in the fusion of the process, one male gamete and the two polar nuclei. Now what is germination? It is the initial stage in the growth of a seed to develop into a seedling under the appropriate condition or the favorable condition. This is the chana or the gram. When we open this, then two cotyledons are there, two white pieces. These are called the cotyledons, and inner of this is the embryo. This embryo, upper part is called the plumule or the future shoot or stem, and lower part is radicle. It forms the future root. This is the germination of the seed. It's about the parts of a flower. Parts of a flower. Flower consists of the four parts. First is sepal, second is petal, third is stamen, and fourth is pistil. Pistil. Now we will draw the diagram of the flower. First we will draw the internal part of the flower, and this swollen part is called stigma. This narrow tube is called style, and this swollen part ovary, and all these form the female reproductive part of a plant. That is female reproductive part, that is pistil. Now we will draw the male reproductive part outside of this, and it consists of the two parts, anther and filament. Anther and filament. This is called male reproductive part. Male reproductive part. This is stamen. Outside of this, some colorful parts are present, that is called petal. And here are some green structure present, that is called sepal. Sepal is green in color and help in the photosynthesis also for some time, and help in the protection of the flower in the bud condition. When the flower is in the bud condition, then it protects the flower also. Petal are colorful. Different colors petal are present in the flower, and they attract the insect. And when they attract the insect, they help in the pollination. Now stamen. Stamen is the male reproductive part. Which help in reproduction. Pistil. This is the female reproductive part, which help in the reproduction. Female reproductive part. Thank you.